Some mornings I ask myself, I wonder if there's going to be anything to make a video on today. And then I come to the realization within half a second later, oh wait, we have a liberal government that isn't their entire existence based off of lies, corruption, gaslighting, manipulation, and just a bunch of criminal activity. So no, there are no shortage of YouTube videos to be made of not even doing a deep dive into exposing the corruption and exposing the lies. It literally just shows up every single day. It's nonstop. I don't understand how these people still have a job. What job in the world can you think of where you can suck this bad, mess up this bad, spend this much money illegally, have this much criminal behavior and corruption, and still be employed with zero repercussions? Wow, that was one hell of an intro. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I want to encourage you to give a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps grow the channel. We are so close, oh so close to 300,000 subscribers. We're going up against CTV, CBC, and Global News, all these massive corporations that are doing like 1,500 personnel layoffs at once, probably because it's not really profitable. And here we are, one person show running a YouTube channel, and we're getting more views than them. So congratulations to you and the viewers. And well, here we go. Let's get into this video. We have former Deputy Minister proves Trudeau is lying to Canadians. This comes from Michael Cooper, a very well-spoken Conservative member of Parliament. Underappreciated. We always focus on like Pierre Poilievre and Andrew Scheer, Melissa Lantsman, even Candace, right? Remember Candace, interim Conservative leader? But sometimes we overlook the smaller guys. No offense, Cooper.
You mentioned that there was a follow-up piece, that you asked for a follow-up piece. On what date did you ask for that follow-up piece?
I'm sure the follow-up memo is top secret and therefore unable to be shared with the committee. I'm told that I saw a draft in December of 2021 and that the memo was finalized in January of 2022. For the record, most of it has already been published by Global.
In answer to the last question posed by Mr. Nader, you said that with respect to the follow-up to the July 2021 CSIS memo, that you saw a draft in December of 2021, and that that draft was finalized in January of 2022. And when Mr. Nader asked you to provide a copy of that to the committee, you said that you would be unable to, but that much of its contents had been reported in Global News. And for the record, Madam Chair, I would like to note that Global News did, in fact, on March 8th, report a January 2022 special report that was prepared by PCO, which was date-stamped and finalized, suggesting that it was intended to be read by the Prime Minister and his senior aides. That memo, or special report, contained, among other things, that, quote, a large clandestine transfer of funds earmarked for the federal election from the PRC consulate in Toronto was transferred to an elected provincial government official via a staff member of a 2019 federal candidate, that, quote, we assess that Canada remains highly vulnerable to Chinese foreign interference efforts. We base this judgment on intelligence that highlights deep and persistent Chinese Communist Party interference attempts over more than a decade, and that the group allegedly involved at least 11 candidates and 13 or more aides. In short, Mr. Morrison, you have conceded what the Prime Minister and this government have repeatedly denied and attempted to cover up.
I'm glad we're talking about this right now because we've kind of forgotten a little about this, right? We've moved on temporarily because there's so many scandals to try and keep up with the Liberal government. And what the main focus has been for the past like week or so has been Marco Mendicino, who, you know, allegedly didn't get notified, even though his staff member was notified for 2 months in advance, of Paul Bernardo, Canada's top criminal, who got deranked from a high security prison to a medium security prison. And ever since that's happened, the mainstream media, and myself too, I'm guilty of just not really talking about Chinese election interference because there's other more hot topic things to talk about, but this is still a very important thing to focus on. What we're going to take a look at next is Michael Cooper questioning Justin Trudeau. And, well, as you can expect, Trudeau is very good with his non-answers. Here we go.
Yesterday, the Prime Minister's loyal rapporteur was asked to reconcile his conclusion that the spreading of disinformation in the 2021 election could not be attributed to the Beijing regime with the CSIS briefing to the former leader of the Conservative Party that said the opposite. The rapporteur said that he based his conclusion on evidence that he had at the time. Evidence that was provided by this government. So, did the rapporteur ignore material evidence, or did this government withhold it from him? Which one is it?
Honourable Prime Minister. Speaker, that evidence is available to the Leader of the Opposition if only he were to accept a top-secret briefing that he prefers to refuse so he can continue his baseless personal attacks against an eminent Canadian. But further than that, Mr. Speaker, it is a panel of expert public service officials who determined both in 2019 and 2021 that the election integrity held, mechanisms that this government put in place that previous governments never bothered with. That's how we know the integrity of the elections in 2019 and 2021 held.
That's right.
The honourable member for St. Albert, Edmonton.
Mr. Speaker, a report of the government's rapid response mechanism identified that Beijing-controlled social media accounts were spreading disinformation in the 2021 election targeting the Conservative Party, including an account with 26 million followers. And yet, incredibly, the rapporteur concluded otherwise. He ignored the report, he ignored the evidence, and instead whitewashed Beijing's interference. The conclusions of a rapporteur have no credibility. Will the Prime Minister fire him and finally call an independent public inquiry?
Yes, that is what everybody wants.
These are the conclusions of the top public officials who had the task during the 2021 and 2019 elections to monitor the foreign interference that has been ongoing in this country for years and years, against with the former Minister of Elections for the Conservatives, the current leader, did nothing. We established a protocol whereby the integrity of those elections were evaluated and reported on. That integrity held. Now, if the Conservatives think the integrity of the elections didn't hold in 19 or 21, let them say so, Mr. Speaker.
That's right.
Well, they pretty much have said so, and that's why we need a public inquiry, because none of this is making any sense, and the person that was chosen couldn't have been a more biased individual. But as we end the video, I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you agree that there should be a public inquiry, or do you think, nah, we should just forgive and forget and move on? Because that is actually a controversial issue somehow, which I can't wrap my head around, but somehow it is. Anyways, that's where we're going to end it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for making it to the end of the video. If you want to support the channel financially, you can do so by checking out the merch shop linked right up there. Or if you want to do something for free, which is also absolutely acceptable and highly encouraged, you can subscribe right there. If you want to continue watching videos like this, you can do so by clicking or tapping right there to watch the next upcoming video. And if you want to watch a little bit of different content, but also Canadian stuff, you can do so by clicking right up there. That's my second channel, House of Canada, also known as the House of Commons Highlights. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.